38. Johnson right, and they send Herman in motion. And Parkinson has it, looking to the screen. He goes to Fredrickson, a great block. And Fredrickson, from the 20-yard line, comes all the way out to the 44, a gain of 24 yards.
Well, hello! Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video, and welcome to the Gridiron. Before I get started, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone out there who's been watching my videos. Thank you! If you can give this video a thumbs up, or maybe leave a comment below, or possibly even share this video, it would mean so much to me. But at least anyway, just thank you just so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. Thank you! Well, it's official. It's like a little bit of a roller coaster ride. You thought like after the game was over against the Eagles, Daniel Jones, we won. Daniel Jones is good. We got Daniel Jones against the Dolphins, and like 2 days later, Daniel Jones probably out, got a neck problem with the neck. Then like a day or so later, Daniel Jones is talking to people. No, I'm practicing like I got this. We're good. I'm practicing like I'm going to be starting, and Coach Judge is like, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to rule him out. There's a possibility, and here it is 2 days later, whatever it is, like, nope, he's out. It's been a roller coaster ride. So he's missing another game. This is what? I guess, 1.5 games he's missed so far this year. Now, what I was kind of reading, too, is that it's a neck. It's like, maybe like with a back or something. It's... Hope it's just a day. I don't think they've really maybe so much pinpointed down exactly as what it might be. I mean, it could be something underlying problem where it might be a little worse than this. So, gonna have to keep an eye out on that. But hopefully it's just a 1 week. We'll have to wait and see. But, I mean, I was reading some reports where it could be something maybe a little bit worse. I mean, if you're talking neck, you're talking like a back or something, you're talking scary stuff. But, right now, he's just out for Sunday's game against the Dolphins. Hopefully he'll be back the following week against the Chargers, because we got back-to-back road games. We got in Miami, and then we're going to go out to Los Angeles and play those Chargers. It'd be nice to see him going head-to-head against Herbert, but one game at a time. Now, so he missed his rookie season. He had a high ankle sprain. He missed 2 games. Eli came in. They played the Eagles. The Giants won at 17-3 at halftime. Of course, the rest of the game they didn't score a point, and they wound up losing in overtime, 23-17. That was the game. I believe Saquon had a nice first half. The Giants were up 17-3. Things looking good, baby. And I think Saquon, the whole second half and overtime, had 6 touches, I think it was. It was like, I don't know. Another one of the reasons why Pat Shurmur is out of there. Then, of course, last year, he missed 2 games. Once again, sliding. Every time he's been hurt, all right, it's been him running the ball. Maybe that's why Eli just never ran the ball. Eli got nailed a lot in the pocket, but he never got hurt. Eli would hardly ever run the ball. I mean, Daniel Jones got the high ankle sprain, rookie season, from running the ball. Last year, he got the hamstring from sliding against the Bengals, and he had to come out of that game. He tried to stay in there, and he just came out, he couldn't do it. So then he missed the next game against the Seahawks. Then when we came home, he played against, last year, he played against the Cardinals. He got totally annihilated. He had like 6 sacks, and then they took him out, and they put Colt McCoy in there. Then the next week, we played home against the Browns when Freddie Kitchens called plays. We only got 6 points, but so he missed, time in 2 games so far this year. His rookie season, he's missed 2 games. Last year, he missed 2 games. Hopefully, he won't miss any more time this year. But, you want to see, it's tough to say he's injury prone, but he gets injured when he runs the ball. It's just almost it's just like, it's like when he got like Lamar Jackson running the ball, and he never gets hurt. I don't know. It just, I guess Dan Jones got to learn to slide better or get down faster or whatever, so he's not getting hurt. Against the Eagles, he should have gotten down faster to avoid maybe getting a contact, but it is what it is. Now, I see some people out there, I've seen, talking about Daniel Jones, like as far as like it Bill's been along the lines of me, do we want to sign him to his 5th year? Because we have to do that by next May. We want to pick up his 5th-year option. And I've seen some people like talking about like how he was in college. He was horrible in college, horrible at Duke. How could he possibly be any good in the pros if he was horrible at Duke and all of that? And, it's just kind of funny. In college, Daniel Jones, he was completed 59.9% of his passes. It was about 60%. Obviously, nothing super special. He had 8,201 yards. He had 52 touchdown passes and 29 interceptions. But it's Duke football. It's almost kind of like comparing apples to oranges. Okay, it's Duke football. All right. A lot of people, when the draft was coming out, wanted Dwayne Haskins. And why? Well, all I kept hearing was Dwayne Haskins was completing 70% of his passes at Ohio State. Daniel Jones is completing 60. He's completing 70. Come on. Well, where's Dwayne Haskins starting? What team's he starting for? That's right. He's not. You know why? He's not that good of a quarterback. It's apples and oranges, guys. Duke football. You go to Duke to play basketball. You don't go to Duke to play football. The talent level on the Duke football team is not that good. It's not Notre Dame. It's not Alabama. It's not Clemson. It's not Ohio State, where Dwayne Haskins came from. It's Duke. All right, so you got to keep that in mind. Now, looking back over some of the drafts, let me know if there's one guy you'll know. All right, but just I went back, and as far back as I can see with the Duke football team, their wide receivers being drafted into the NFL. Let me know which one of these guys you've ever heard of. 1967, Dave Dunaway. He was drafted in 1960 by the Green Bay Packers. Actually, he was drafted. He was a Duke wide receiver. He got drafted. He lasted 2 years. In his pro career, he had 2 receptions for 37 yards. 1971, Wes Chesson. Yes, that Wes Chesson. The Duke phenom, wide receiver himself, 1971. He played 4 years. He had a grand total of 40 receptions for 598 yards and 2 touchdowns. Then in 1982, we had to go 11 years before another Duke wide receiver was drafted in the NFL. Cedric Jones, 1982. He actually had a little so he had life to him. He had played 9 years, 191 receptions, 2,703 yards, and he did have 16 touchdowns. But if you break that down in 9 years, all right, that's basically about 21 catches a year, 300 yards a year, about a touchdown and a half a year. That's what he averaged. That was the Duke wide receiver. Then you have Chris Castor, 1983. He played a grand total of 2 years. He had, in those 2 years, this Duke wide receiver who got drafted in the NFL had 8 receptions for 89 yards. Wow. Then the next guy was Clarkston Hines, 1990. He got drafted by the Bills, and he never made it. They let him go. He never played it down in the NFL. The only wide receiver, all right, drafted from Duke in the last 30 years, all right, was Jamison Crowder. Now, you've all heard of him. In 2015. He's now with the Jets. All right, so he's had a very nice career. 396 receptions. Right, he's had a very nice career. But in the last 30 years, He's the only one. Duke wide receiver, and he didn't play with Daniel Jones that was drafted in the pros. Jameson Crowder, right? He's very, very good, right? But it's Duke football, okay? Since 2001, only 10 players have been drafted from Duke into the NFL. The last 20 years, we've only had 10 players. 4 of them were in this last draft. So if you go to 19 years prior to this draft, only 6 players were drafted from Duke into the NFL. One was drafted in the 7th round, another was drafted in the 7th round, one was drafted in the 4th, another one was drafted in the 4th. 2 were drafted in the 1st round. All right, Laken Tomlinson, a guard from the Detroit Lions, was drafted in the 1st round in 2015. Okay, he's a good pick. Okay, but you know that's one guy. Then of course Daniel Jones was drafted in the 1st round. You know, obviously by the Giants. Then the 4 guys that got drafted by Duke in this year's draft, one was in the 6th, one was in the 5th, another was in the 5th, and another one was in the 4th. So we're not talking high draft picks, all right? You know, we're talking Duke, all right? But see, when the stage was maybe at its brightest in 2017, Daniel Jones, when he was Duke and they went to their bowl game, he was the MVP of the bowl game. 2018, he was the MVP of the bowl game for Duke. In 2018, the bowl game, he was 30 out of 41. 423 yards, 5 touchdowns, basically with very lacking talent at the wide receiver position. He had 5 touchdown passes, 423 yards passing. He went to the Senior Bowl in 2018 with nothing but good talent. Good offensive line, good wide receivers, good running back, the whole shebang. He was the MVP. Daniel Jones was the MVP of the 2018 Senior Bowl. He was 8 out of 11, 115 yards, 1 touchdown. I mean, he was only in there for a certain period of time because they got quarterback. They're not going to have the Senior Bowl. They're not going to have one quarterback play the whole game. Everybody gets like maybe, you know, a quarter or so, whatever. He was 8 out of 11, 115 yards. Okay, 1 touchdown. He was the MVP. So if you give him some talent, look what he can do. So if you can't compare, all right, his stats, all right, against other guys, especially nowadays. Do you know that Joe Montana, the great quarterback from Notre Dame, some can actually say he's the greatest quarterback of all time. When he was in Notre Dame, he played 3 years. He completed 52% of his passes for 4,121 yards. He had 25 touchdown passes. He had 25 interceptions. Now, if you look at those stats, there's no way in heck he could be any good. Especially if you can 52% of his passes he completed. I know things were a little different back then. We're talking back to the 70s, but he led Notre Dame to a national championship in 1977, and he still only completed 52% of his passes. He was on a good team. They won the national championship. They went to the championship game and they beat Earl Campbell and the Texas Longhorns. They just whooped up on them, 38-10. And he completed 52% of his passes in his career at college. So you can't compare college, one college to another. It's Duke. You got to keep that in mind. You got to cut the guy some slack, especially at Duke. All right. Now, when he was a rookie, he came into, he certainly had some moments. I mean, obviously, he won his first 2 games. I mean, who could forget that Tampa game? 2 running touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns. They brought the Giants back from like 18-point deficit, and they hung on and won when the Tampa Bay kicker missed like a 30-yard field goal. But the next week we came home and we killed the Redskins. I think it was 24-3. He won his first 2 games as a rookie quarterback. He was the first one since Phil Simms. He's the 3rd Giant quarterback, rookie quarterback in Giants history to win his first 2 starts. Phil Simms in 1979 won his first 2 starts, and then Travis Tidwell. Oh yeah, that Travis Tidwell, 1950. He won his first 2 starts. He's the 5th quarterback, Daniel Jones, in NFL history to have 5 touchdown passes in a game as a rookie. The 5th quarterback. He's the first quarterback ever as a rookie to throw for 350 yards, 5 touchdowns in a game and 0 interceptions, or over 350 yards, 5 touchdowns and 0 interceptions in a game. He's the first quarterback ever as a rookie to have 3 games, rookie season, of 300 or more passing yards, 4 or more touchdowns, and no interceptions in 3 games. Another quarterback did it, Fran Tarkin did, but he had one of his games he did that, he had an interception in. But Daniel Jones is the first rookie quarterback ever. 3 games rookie season, 300 more passing yards, 4 or more touchdown passes in a game, and 0 interceptions in each game. Got to give the man some credit there. So he's had some nice moments, obviously, in his without question. But then again, he's also had some boneheaded moments. I mean, we could, his lack of pocket presence. Sometimes he's just standing there, and you see the guy. He just gets creamed and he fumbles the ball. Throwing interceptions, fumbling the ball, losing the ball. I mean, the one game, it was against the Steelers last year, the first game of the year. We got the ball down around the 1 or 2 yard line. He scrambles out, rolls out to his left, and he's like looking, and Bud Dupree is just running, and Daniel Jones is just standing there, and you got Bud Dupree. Daniel Jones doesn't have his back to him like this. Daniel Jones is like this, looking. Bud Dupree is coming right at him, and he waits for Bud Dupree just to get almost on him, goes like this, hits the ball flies up in the air. Pittsburgh intercepts the ball, their ball the other way. We lose at least 3 points there. I mean, what are you doing? I mean, there's a bunch of them. I mean, but the one, obviously the latest one is the one against Tampa Bay. I mean, he's rolling out. I mean, he's got some pressure on him, and he throws the ball across the field to a defensive lineman who's basically almost kind of sitting on the ground, throws it, and he catches it for an interception. What are you doing? I mean, are you serious? See, I mean, so he certainly has had some special moments, without question. I mean, some beautiful passes. I mean, like recently, the 1 touchdown pass to Evan Ingram against the Raiders. I mean, that was pretty. Just lobbed it right up there. Evan Ingram jumped up, caught it. That was the only touchdown, of course, we scored in that game. But I mean, beautiful pass. So he's got some good stuff to him, but there's also some head scratchers there as well. All right. Now, this is his fifth year option coming up. They have until next May to pick that up. It's $21 million. They have to think about signing Dexter Lawrence to his 5th year option as well too. That's something else they got to come up with. All right. Now, in his Daniel Jones, in his defense, all right, we've had bad offensive line, or sometimes you can say almost maybe no offensive line. There's injuries to the wide receivers, to the offensive line, to his running backs. Jason Garrett calling plays. That's a liability. He's been in a couple different systems. At Pat Shurmur his first year, then he had to learn a new system with Jason Garrett. Then of course Jason Garrett calling the plays. Now he's got Freddie Kitchens calling plays. So I can get it. I understand. So this is his 3rd year. Next year will be his 4th year. I say, what I read in an article I saw, his 5th year option would be $21 million. Right. I say don't. Let him prove himself. Okay. Let's see what you can do. The pressure's on you. If you want that big time money, right? Let's see what you can do next year. We can, if worse comes, we can always franchise tag him. I know that. Now that's going to be more money, obviously, than the $21 million. That's going to be, I don't know exactly, but it's probably at least $30 million, maybe a little bit more. You can always franchise tag him. Okay. Now, if you compare Daniel Jones to like Eli Manning, Eli Manning's 3rd year was 2006. Eli Manning had the complete package. He had Tiki Barber behind him, Jeremy Shockey was a wide receiver, Plexico Burress, he had Amani Toomer, he had the offensive line, right? He had Seibert, Deal, O'Hara, Snead, McKenzie. He had the offensive line. Daniel Jones has got, he's got the running backs, he's got the tight end, he's got the wide receivers, they're all banged up. Doesn't have an offensive line. So instead of signing him to the $21 million and guarantee him that, let's get him the offensive line he needs. That's what Eli had the offensive line, and in Eli's fourth season, they went to and won the Super Bowl. Not saying the Giants are going to win the Super Bowl if we get them an offensive line. Don't get me wrong there, but let's get them. Let's draft some offensive linemen. Hopefully, we get Shane Lemieux back. We got Andrew Thomas. You don't know what Nick Gates is going to be, so we need some offensive linemen. I keep saying, let's pick 2 of them in the first round, or if worst comes to worst, let's get. I know there's a couple good guards in the second round. Maybe we can grab a guard in the second round and grab Linderbaum, the center, right, in the first round, and pick somebody else in the first round. But I mean, that way maybe you have Thomas, maybe you have Lemieux, maybe you have Linderbaum, the center. You grab another guard in the second round, and maybe I don't know if you're going to trust Parrott or not as tackle. I don't know, but let's get him as offensive line. We got them all. We're going to have all the weapons back next year, except for Evan Ingram. So you're going to have Saquon Barkley. You're going to have Devontae Booker. You're going to have Golladay. You're going to have Slayton. You're going to have Shepard. You're going to have Kadarius Toney. You're going to have, you have Kyle Rudolph. Maybe Caden Smith will come back. Caden Smith had a nice year. It's a little nice year. He wasn't used that much, but a nice little year when he was with Shermer calling the plays. Now with Jason Garrett calling the plays, he's like almost non-existent. Of course, his knee injury isn't helping him either. But if we let Evan Ingram go, we get him an offensive line, got the running backs, the wide receivers. Let's see what you can do. Because when Eli Manning had the complete package, Eli Manning took us to the Super Bowl. So instead of guaranteeing him the $21 million for his 5th year, let's get him what he needs, right? And then let's see what you can do. And if you prove us wrong, we'll either franchise tag you or we'll sign you to a nice long contract that you need now. In 2023, the Giants are going to have $93 million salary, so they can, if Daniel Jones isn't the right guy, they can let him go. They can sign somebody. Maybe I'm just throwing names out. If Russell Wilson was out there, if Aaron Rodgers was available, the Giants will have some money. They can sign somebody in 2023. They can get him, or if he is the right guy, they'll have some money. They can get him. If they need a tackle, they can go out into their free agency and get him a tackle. And so he has the weapons. In 2023, they can go out and spend and get somebody in free agency. Now, 2023, they had 27 guys signed. Daniel Jones is not one of them, but they have $93 million. Sterling Shepard may not be around. If they let him go, they might save another $10 million, close to it. So they'll have over $100 million to sign guys with. Now, say Daniel Jones is one of them. Say his franchise tag is, say, $33 million. Just throwing a number out there. Now, they still have $70 million to go out and sign guys. They have to sign their draft class from this year. They have to sign their draft class from next year in 2023. But even after that, they'll still have about $50 million to go out and sign guys with. They'll have about 44 guys signed between the draft class, Daniel Jones, and the 27 guys. Like I said, they only need to go out and sign a few more guys to complete the team. But they'll have $40 or $50 million in salary cap. So they, in 2023, if Daniel Jones is the guy, they can go out into the market, spend some money, get a few nice top free agents in to help them out, and they can franchise tag them if they want. They can franchise tag them a couple years in a row if they want to. But in 2023, there's also a couple other guys. If they wanted to, they could let Leonard Williams go and save 18. I think the dead cap money would be like $9 million. That would be a lot of money. But if they let him go, they would be saving $18 million. Adoree Jackson, they could let him go. There would be some dead cap money too, but they would save $12 million. Logan Ryan, if they would let him go, there's a little dead cap money with Logan Ryan as well too. But they would be saving over $9 million. I said Sterling Shepard, there's like a $4 million dead cap hit if they let him go. He's hurt all the time. I hate to see him go, but he's hurt. What good are you if you're hurt all the time? But if they let Sterling Shepard go, they'd be saving about $9.5 million. So if you let these other guys go, it's about, between Leonard Williams, Adoree Jackson, Logan Ryan, Sterling Shepard, there's another $50 million you could free up in salary cap. So they could have a lot of, they could franchise tag Daniel Jones and sign all they have 10 guys this year in the rookie class to sign, 7 guys next year. They don't have a 6th rounder next year, I think, but I think they have 2 7th rounders next year. So they have 17 rookies that they got to sign. They can sign Daniel Jones, and they can, if they let go Leonard Williams, Sterling Shepard, Adoree Jackson, Logan Ryan, I'm just saying if, they would have about $100 million to go out and spend and get other free agents in there. And then you can really, really help Daniel Jones out. But let's, instead of guaranteeing him $21 million and you're not sure if he's the answer or not, let's get him what he needs in the draft. In the draft, you got 2 firsts, you got a 2nd, and 2 thirds. You got 5, in the top 75, 80 picks, you're going to have 5 guys. Let's get him the wall he needs. You got him the weapons, you got the running backs, you got, Kyle Rudolph, the tight end and all, right? Let's get him the wall he needs in front of him, and then we'll see what happens. And if he can prove us wrong, if he deserves the money, then you go out and you sign him to that long-term contract, and then you got yourself your quarterback, right? And then, he just ride off in the sunset. If you get him the wall, if you got him the receivers and all that, and he still is not the quarterback, still doing these boneheaded plays and all that, he's had, 21 touchdown passes and 17 interceptions in the past year and a half or so? Is that somebody you want to pay $21 million a year on his 5th year? Really? 21 and 17? Wow. So if he's not, you get him the wall, you got him the weapons, and if he's still not the guy, you save yourself the $21 million. Well, as always, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. You guys stay safe out there, and go Giants! Woo!